Okay, I'm going to turn this into a functional firearm. I'm going to take all the relevant pieces that make this a functional firearm, and I'm going to transfer them to this. It's almost toolless. The only thing you need a tool for is the magazine release, and we'll get into it, but it's not really a tool. It's just a workaround. It's a clothespin. Wouldn't use one, but I'll talk about that later. All right, so whenever you're dealing with a firearm, you want to make sure it's safe. Now, so we're going to clear it because we're going to empty it. We're going to disassemble it, right? So there's no magazine inserted. Lock it to the rear. Make sure there's no round in the chamber. Double check mag. Okay, we're good. It's clear. The first thing we're going to do in this position is take this takedown lever and we're going to rotate it clockwise as far as we can. And it starts out pretty stiff. I've done this a couple times now, and it's getting less stiff, so it just takes time. Okay, once we've got this takedown lever in like seated fully in the clockwise position, there's a little knob here that runs in this track, right? And the track can't run unless the slide is racked to the rear, because it's got this cutout right in the slide. So we're going to need it right there, and we're going to hold on to the slide as we press the slide release, and we're going to ride it forward and off. You want to be careful. It is under pressure because this is the thing that puts it back into battery. This is the guide rod and recoil spring, and that basically makes sure that the gun functions. Otherwise, you just have, you know, the backward pressure of the from the explosion of the round. Anyway, I'm sure someone's going to complain about that. So the barrel and slide are really easy to get out. Okay, guide rod, slide, barrel, boom. Spring stays on there. Okay, that's really easy, right? I imagine you can take this apart, but you need tools to do it, and you don't need to take it apart to put it onto this. Okay, so we got to pull out by kind of pulling and wriggling on the takedown lever. Then I just take my finger and on this little tail that's sticking up here, kind of rotate the trigger assembly up and out. Okay, this is the serialized portion, which means this is the part that makes it a firearm for technical purposes. Okay, it's trigger assembly on other firearms. Sig calls them fire control units. Okay, so the other thing that we have to do, like I said, is take out the mag release. And what we're going to do is we're going to press on it and push out the relevant portion to the far side. Now we're going to push on it like we're releasing a mag, but we're going to press and hold. And I've just been doing this right here, facing it away from me, muzzle away, and I take my super duper special armorer's tool right here. I push it down. There's a little notch in the grip that kind of will guide you into it. And when you push forward, there's a hole there. So you want to keep your pin along the barrel of the body of the grip, and then kind of work it forward. So you stick it in and you push forward, stick it in and you push forward, stick it in and you push forward, and out comes this little piece. And then you release slowly because it is under spring pressure. You can see the spring right there maybe, and you just pull it out like this. Okay, the spring will just drop out, so don't lose it. Okay, that's it. That's the whole thing disassembled to the point where we can just change grips. Very, very easy. And so we're going to talk about a little bit about this. This is the only tool you need. Not a tool, obviously, but and you can kind of see it's kind of making a little bit of a scratching mark on this little piece that it scrapes on. So I wouldn't recommend using this. I'd recommend using something more like a paper clip, or if you can find an Allen wrench that's small enough. So I have here a 1.5 inch, oh excuse me, 1.5 millimeter Allen wrench, and I have a punch rod here. That's the smallest, is 1.5 millimeter as well, and that's a 1/16 inch, and that's way too big. Way too big. Came with these things. I don't even know where they go. They're kind of irrelevant. But if you were in theater or something like that, you would have a hard time finding something that was small enough to go in there and lever it out. So if you have extra grips, I would highly recommend getting the magazine releases and just having them all set up, all ready to go. They're not pertinent to any other part of the gun. So, I mean, you can have it just like this with the magazine release in there, and it's not going to bother anything. That's what I would recommend. If you're ever going into a situation where you'd need to find a tool that small in order to get in. I tried like little nails. No, not going to work. That's too big. It's got to be a very, very slender thing. I don't even know what size this is, but it's too big. So, all right, moving on. We're gonna go in reverse to put it back together. Essentially, the spring of the magazine release just seats itself right there, and it will fall out. So, like I said, be careful. And if you can't tell, I'll try and describe it. There's a little thing that is open. There's two ends to this thing. There's an open end and there's a closed end. Okay, you're gonna push the closed end in like this. Okay, and that's how they work back together, but we'll show you. Okay, so I imagine also that this could be ambidextrous. So if I wanted to put this in, if I was a left-handed shooter, I could take it out and put it in on this side. Just got to turn it all the way over, right? But I'm right-handed, so I want it on this side, and I know it's on this side not just because of the spring, but because there's a ridged portion, and it basically aids in getting your being able to push it without your finger sliding off. The ridges help push it in with the right reliability. Okay, so point the muzzle in toward yourself, and the triangle point will go toward the muzzle end as well. It's a simple matter of size dictating which end goes which way. And I'm using my finger down into the grip to make sure I guide it into the right spot. Now the spring's working just fine, but nothing's holding it in place. So you have to press the magazine release and hold it. And you're going to take the closed end of this thing, the open end is forward, and you're going to take the closed end and push it down toward your other finger. Okay, and it should kind of click. I don't know if you heard it, but it just makes a little click. And then it works just fine. Pretty simple, but you're never going to have something this small unless you're dealing with it at home. Okay, now next thing we got to do is put the fire control unit back into the grip module. Okay, so you're going to take the trigger and make sure it goes into the slot there, and then we have to make sure that this part curls in and underneath. So we're going to roll it forward a little bit, push down, and click in. Okay, so a good indicator that this is seated properly is when the slide release is down into the slide release notch. Okay, it's not right now, and be very careful. I just stabbed my finger practicing this on this piece right here. This little devil will slice right into you. Be careful. Okay, see, there we go. There is the slide release properly seated. Before it was just a little bit higher up, and now it's right in. Now we're going to put the takedown lever straight through here, and I don't know how well anybody can see that, but you will be able to see it if you have one in front of you and you're just kind of following along. There's something blocking the hole. which makes you have to kind of rotate and push as you put this takedown lever back in there. Also known as wriggle and cram. And you just kind of work it back in there. Please don't work for me. There you go. That would be awesome if you just decided not to work. There we go. Okay. Now, it's not quite flush fit on the far side in any case, but this is not the right spot. Okay, you can tell that because the knob here and the track that it's supposed to run in are not mating up properly. So you gotta make sure those two are stuck together, and it kind of gets in there. Now it's not flush fit, but that's fine. The knob is in the track, and that's the main thing. And it can rotate all the way forward, but you want it to rotate all the way in the open position, which is clockwise. Okay. Now when it's full forward counterclockwise, this thing is up, and it makes sure that things don't just fall apart due to gunfire. Okay, it's going to be in like a 7 o'clock, 6:30 position, and we're gonna be ready to put things back on once we get the slide assembly put back together. This is really easy. The barrel, this blocky portion, goes toward the grip. The muzzle goes into the muzzle line. Okay, now it goes in really easy. We want that drop to be properly seated. It shouldn't wiggle. It shouldn't do anything until you press up and lift out on it. Okay, once it drops in there, that's the right position. Okay, guide rod, recoil, spring. Really easy. Fat end forward. Fat end goes to the muzzle end, and this end seats right in behind this 90-degree angle. So there is a hole right here with a little rim on the inside. That's where we're going to put the fat end, and we're just going to really easily, lightly push down. Now we're going to put these two together. These two tails, I don't know what else to call them, fit in on these two tracks called rails. Okay, choo-choo. Okay, just like that. Now they're only pinned on those tails, so it will, on that one spot of those tails, not two different spots, so it will wiggle. And that thing that will destroy your finger is right there, and it will run up against this. So when you're pushing back, don't push back too hard until you get past that, and then you can start to just find your way backwards by wriggling and cramming backwards. Okay, use the slide stop lever to stop the slide in the rearward position. Okay, now all we have to do is push the takedown lever all the way forward into the counterclockwise position, and you could at this point drop the slide by pressing the slide release lever, slide locking lever, whatever you want to call it, just to be safe. You can apply a little rearward pressure, press down, and it's fully seated forward. Okay, function check is you make sure the weapon's clear. It should be. We just disassembled it, and there's no ammo around here. Function check makes sure that the weapon fires and functions correctly. So you're going to pull the point it in a safe direction and pull the trigger. Hold the trigger down. Okay. Rack the slide to the rear and slowly release. Slowly release. Should reset. Okay. And then if you want, you can try it again. Very nice trigger, in my opinion. With a firearm with a safety, you'd want to make sure the safety was engaged first. Try to pull the trigger. Try to make the weapon fire. If it doesn't fire, that's good in that situation. Then you depress the safety, point it in a safe direction, pull the trigger, rack it, get that reset, pull again, reset. Okay, and then you put the safety back on or whatever. Okay. I really like this. It's very cool. These blocks came with the grip safety, the grip module. I think they go in something like this, and I think they basically just keep the plastic grip from deforming. I think it goes something like that. I'm going to switch it right back because I like the black better. I might end up getting a stainless steel slide, in which case I could just leave it on that one, but just so they don't get lost wandering off. But yeah, very cool. Very cool stuff. I like it a lot. Very cool. See you later.